I also wanted to mention that they're very creative, the hospital systems. They're very creative at coming up with ways to have excuses to close their departments. So this was just a couple days ago. Adina halts heart surgeries. This was in Ohio. 2 cardiologists gone amidst international controversies over surgeries. So apparently this woman had a heart attack. This doctor had treated her great, and the family had praised it, but then she had to have this other procedure, another procedure done, like a balloon, like clearing the arteries out. And so they used a robotic system. Like, this is how great AI is in this robotic shit. So it left a needle in her, but they only found that out later. The doctors didn't know. They thought that the robotic arm had torn the heart. Yeah, you can find, there's a whole news article on it, or I mean news on YouTube, like a regular news station. And of course the hospital didn't give much reason, but this is then an excuse. They closed the entire cardiac department. So it has nothing to do with patients, unfortunately. I hate to say that, you know, like on a public platform, but it doesn't. That doesn't mean that everybody that's at that bedside doesn't care. They do. They're powerless. Although they're not powerless, they could speak up if they were willing to open their eyes, if they were willing to have moral courage. Would it do any good? Well, it at least not let these hospital CEOs get away with it. Yeah. If enough people stood up and said, no, we're done with the unions, we're done with the American Nurses Association, everybody telling us when they're just trying to keep us distracted or push their one-payer system on us, while really the hospitals are trying to destruct their hospitals. They're coming. I talked to a nurse earlier today she works like OB nursery, and they're normally like super, super busy, and now all of a sudden they have no patients because another hospital system is now taking public aid, so now all of patients have to go there. And so it leaves this other hospital that was normally busy, and I don't think, well, it's tied to a university hospital, so, but it's just a unique way to move people, because people that want to have babies, most especially, are going to want to be near the hospital where they're going to give birth. So they're finding creative ways, and it's calculated. It's so sick. And they move these CEOs in and out. Like from your university hospitals, they do. Your smaller hospitals that own a few other hospitals, they're going along with it too, though. And I think that their plan was, their excuse, if they were ever uncovered, would be that, well, we were strong-armed into it. No, the university hospitals most especially, they may have strong-armed some other hospitals, especially when they were, you know, like your Northwestern wanting to, I mean, they're one of your biggest ones, okay? That CEO, when I was there, he was on 10 different global boards. They've managed to, and yet 2 years before 2018, that hospital CEO at Northwestern, when I was there, and one at another healthcare system, they had gotten the biggest raises. They don't ever give their staff raises, but what was the percentage? It was like a 32% raise. So they made sure to make sure they have enough money so when the hospital system cracks, that they will be taken care of. So that's really the number. Will it change them if you call them out? No, but you can at least let them know, no, you're not getting away with it. I may not be able to stop you, but I can call you out. I can call what you're doing out. You're not just doing this for budget reasons. They have plenty of money, especially after COVID. Okay, the amount of money they all got. Yet they played this card up, okay, in 2020. Oh, the fragile healthcare systems, the fragile healthcare systems. Well, the CEOs running in them really they really suck, don't they? Yeah, because I've heard forever about the budget. The budget is bullshit, especially when they can give themselves 32% increases. Now, your nursing unions, they will tell you the same thing I do, but the difference is what they're not telling you, because they're on board with the agenda. What they won't tell you is that they are forcing the government universal health care system, and they are forcing America to her knees by breaking as many institutions as they can so that it weakens America. When you weaken America, then you force us into that global agenda. And I think there's people out there that just kind of think, well, I'll work around it if we go into a communist system. There's no, when you're dealing with people that are willing to do this to your country, and I think most people, especially your higher educated, can't wrap their head around, oh, I'm sure these CEOs, she's overreacting. No, I've looked into it for years now. No, it's exactly what they're doing. And it's very obvious. You can see it playing out. I mean, most people should have saw, even that work in healthcare, even before 2020, that it's all about money. Even if you bring up suggestions, they don't want to do it. They don't. It's just the CEOs have been on board with this for a long time, and that's why at the university hospitals they move the CEOs in and out. So yeah, I'd really like to know where that CEO of Northwestern is now. It's hard to find out a lot about them, though. Yeah, the World Economic Forum seems to protect them pretty heavily. I think because they've been involved in it for a long time, going back to Obama's days. That's when a lot of this started, because Obamacare, it was never about helping patients. It was about helping to destroy the healthcare system. So the nursing unions can tell you whatever they want. The thing they're not telling you is that they're tied to Global Nurses United, and that's tied to the International Nurse Council, and that is tied to the Global 2030 agenda. Not a conspiracy. It is absolutely true. And so for those that do end up believing me or believing people when they hear about it or look into it themselves, you may think, well, I'll just work around it. I can work around it or go into private practice. No. When you go into a communist system, and globalism is communism on a global scale, every country will be forced into it. Will they maybe do it a little slowly? I think they've been moving pretty quick, personally. But I think that once they have control, once they break America, I think they'll move pretty quickly. They don't have any reason not to. They may be sort of being careful now, but really they're not. Not with all the mergers they're still continuing to do. They're just making a lot of excuses. But you may be able to, many countries function in socialism systems, even though they suck. But communism, that's a different story. You don't get to have your own practice. You don't get to own things. The state owns everything. There's a reason why the World Economic Forum was pushing for a while, although I think they've backed off on it. It doesn't mean they've backed off on their agenda. They haven't. Is this whole idea of you will own nothing and be happy. Does that even sound like it makes sense? No. Especially in America, because America is about owning your own home, or, having the American dream of having your own business. In communism, the state owns everything. That's why I don't understand at all of these nursing professionals that got on board with this, because even if they're this twisted in their head, which they have to be, I don't think they realize that once their role is no longer needed, they'll be on the heat pile with the rest of us. Yeah, they'll just have helped to destroy everything and hurt themselves too. So it really makes no sense to me. The only people that benefit from communism is the wealthy. The wealthy will control everything. They will be the government. You may get to go vote. It won't mean anything. It just won't, because the global government, and really it's already been happening when you think about the World Health Organization. We shouldn't even be involved in the World Health Organization, okay? We shouldn't even be involved in the UN. That was all stuff to help move us. It's all been increments. And Obama helped speed it up, and then COVID was their shot, because obviously Trump scared them. Trump threw a wrench into their whole plan, okay? Believe me, we would be in such a terror right now if Hillary would have won. Yeah, the agenda that was planned, if she would have won, thank God for Trump. It was a blessing, no matter how much you hate him.